Okay, you guys should be able to hear me now. All good. So we'll be using React for this. So we'll just go with Next.js. I'll try not to explain like too minor details and just skim through them super quick. The general idea is we just need to do that and we can get our app up and running. And let's not go with TypeScript this time, just to keep it simpler, but yeah. So just down, engage, next tab. And I think we should be able to possibly name it, but okay. It's fine. So we can let it build, and if you guys want, you can follow along. Yeah. The transition is great, I know. So let's get that a project name. So something like a vlog, maybe? I don't know. That could be independent to what you want to do with this. We might use a UI library. I'm not in favor of that, but we'll see. I'll firstly show you my way of doing this, and then we can take it from there. Yeah. And if you guys want, you can still follow along, so that always works. Okay, so let's cd into our blog, and we can just do yarn. Let's open up a VS Code first, and let's quickly run yarn code, and that should open up a new tab here, and we can start coding most likely. So I'll move it this way, so we have like an easier time dealing with this. So start with like a mobile first approach. It's running, right? Yep, localhost 3000. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so this is like a default page. We just extend it out a little more. Yeah. So this is a default page, right? So the way Next.js is structured is you don't need to worry about routing. Hey Scar, you don't have to worry about like how the SEO is handled and stuff, because all the things are kind of built into this. So your main focus within this is going to be this pages. So the first page is obviously the index.js, and let's just remove everything and just put like a h1 there. Okay, yeah, we're not exporting this out, right? So this is not going to work because it's a JavaScript file. So the way this is going to be, we have to make it a component. So export default, we can call it anything. Let's just go with home or something. And I have to default function there. And then we can just return our HTML. That's how JSX works, right? So yeah, we have hello Next.js here. So what exactly is Next.js? Yeah, okay, let's go through that first. So it's a React framework, but it's basically like a Create React app, but with a lot of things on top of it. Things like static, site, like mostly it gives you a better website. Like if I look at the source code of this, I would be able to see like my content in this, because this is all like pre-rendered like here. So it's like better for SEO and stuff as well, since React is dynamic, right? So the page has to render using JavaScript, but this pre-renders things into like static chunks. So while your website is still React, it's also better for SEO, and you have like routing and stuff built in, so you don't have to worry about that. Let me explain what I mean by that too. Right. So to make a new page, for example, if I want to do a blog, I have two ways of doing it. So let's do one for about, right? And we can just do, let's go default function. We could call it anything, to be honest, and return image2 of this. And we can call this is about something. So Next.js is doing this for us. If I go to about here, I can access this page right here without having to worry about where files are. You don't need to install Next.js separately. You can just do a Yarn create app. So basically this one line and you should be good to go. Or if you have like just Node.js and not Yarn, and then you can just go with npx. That should work too. Either of them works. And that should get you to this point basically. Just remove everything that is there and don't worry about it. Right, this is the home module and this is the global styling. So I'll be removing all of this too. But the first idea is to get this be running right. Okay. Yeah. So about how the links in this work, right? So this currently, if I have to go to about, right, I'm having a refresh here because I haven't linked it anywhere yet. But let's say in this component, this is like a React fragment, by the way, since it can only return one div. This is a good way to wrap like multiple different elements together. Right. So within this, we already have a component called link, and we have to import that obviously, and that goes to about, and we can just try to go to about something. We have to include link from next/link, just like that, and yeah, it has to be church, right? This is why I like TypeScript more because I'm done. Basically, now if I click on go to about, this would like no reload would occur here, right? See, it's like because it also pre-renders the page when it knows I'm about to open it. So as soon as I hover over it or something, it starts loading the page. At that point, that's called prefetching. So that works too. Also behind the scenes, it might not show it here right now, but it's also building up like a sitemap and stuff for you. So that's all out of the box too. Now the other main thing on this how you do stuff. If I go to blog, then we can just make a new file, which is the default for this, which would be the index. So expose default function. Let's go with blog. And this is returning like an h2 as well. Blog with like your articles and stuff here, right? So if I just go to /blog, no index in this, I can view blog directly. And to block in this, the general consensus would be you need like a different package, which in this case would be, let's do yarn add @next/nbx and @nbx js loader. nbx is basically like markdown, but with components, you can insert HTML and stuff in it directly, or even React components for that matter. I'll explain what this does. So first things first, what we do need with this is we need a new file here, which is going to be mix.config.js just for this. And this is not Node.js file. So we can't just do import here directly. We'd have to use require at the rate next MDX, just that, and as a function, and then we can just do module dot expose is equal to width MDX, like that, and that should take care of this entirely. Right. So what this gives us is um if I go back to if I go to blog sorry, if I go to blog here now, I can make a new file. Let's call it um a specific blog for you this time, right? So let's say this is your blog post and this could be your URL in your file name. So that could be, let's copy this to also how to make a blog or something .mdx, which is your extension. Now, I have to mark this markdown just like that. So if I go to that link in particular now, so how to make a blog. This isn't going to render right now because while this is being converted, Next.js doesn't have a reference for what this is, and we also need to restart our build because it needs to take the new configuration file into account as well. Right. So let's wait on this. This should still upload. Yep. The general way of doing this otherwise is if I do a slug here. So that could be, hey, if you have anything here that is a slug, and we can fetch the page using that slug here directly. But that would mean explode. So this way we can wrap it like in a page that or something nicely. Export default function blog post. And just say return h1 blog post. So you see, that's the default one we have for the slug now. We can do some checks here if it's bound or not, and that could return like a different component based on that, stuff like that. That is very much possible, obviously. Right. So I might have to configure MDX a bit as far as I'm thinking. So let's go back to our next config and within modules.expose. Let's do page x functions as gs, c6, and fx. Right. Yep, this would still not load. Okay. Now let's hop into styling in first view. I'd still be using Sass because I personally prefer Sass, but we can see for that. I'm going to search for Sass here. Yeah, so we just need to do this. So we have add Sass, and that would add like Sass to the project, and that's all we need to do. So to make Sass work now, let me change this into an SCSS or Sass because I prefer that. And this doesn't exist right now, so I can go to globals and just rename that to globals.sass, just like that. So yep, so this would not compile because this is not proper Sass. Let's just remove all that. We are back to here, and Sass is more of like a Pythonic like CSS language. It just makes it a bit easier for me personally to maintain this, things like that, if that makes sense. Right. So within this, the whole idea would be to let's do a font family to do some surface. And this would take a little to take effect because this is not going to be compiled right now because this doesn't have proper references to it and stuff. Plus, this needs to be addressed particularly. Um, Either way, so that's how you get to style things to work. And the general idea with this is that if I wanna, let's say I did like a home style because I want to keep them separate, right? So I can make like a home.module.sass. It could just be home if I want it to be. And let's say it just says that every issue element has a color of red. So within here, I could just do an input and I could literally just be like um, home.module.sass. And SAS would import this and apply this on this. We run this so we can actually run it nicely. And let's go back to our app and supporting styles right there. Yeah. Also our MDX is working now, like it should. So this is our blog, right? Um, like I was saying, yeah, this makes it easier now. I can write like a JS code block here possibly. And if I, yeah, so you see, you can easily like type down your logs this way. So it would be easier to manage in sense. We do have, let's take this. We do have support for italics and let's go with bold and rates. The side works right. Yeah. So it makes it like incredibly easy to write blogs. Plus that is like a blog link we have now, right? So if I just go back to the blog page and just do a quick info link from um, link, then I could very easily, this could say something like recent articles. I'm going to keep it bare minimum. I just want to show you why this would be the better way of doing this. And then we can extend from it basically. So let's go with that and let's go with this link being giving it like a title here. So how to make you don't have to add it in manually every time because we can manage like a file outside of this that we can access to get all the links to different blocks and stuff, and that could be pre-rendered as well. But to show you this now, if I go to blog, right, so I have to move this from this next slash here. Yeah, let's reload this. All good, all good, all good. This is page, this way, the terminal window. So it doesn't want me to use a fragment here for some reason. We'll fix that too. But yeah, our styles are being applied like they should, and our links are working like it should too. This isn't going to work because it's going to slash here directly. So we might have to do it this way. Let's do it then log and then that. So yeah, our link is working and we can go between those. Right, to make components now. So let's give this whole thing like a bit more styling to it, right? Instead of just this bare minimum blocks. So how we're going to do this is let's add a components folder here and let's do nav navbar.ts6 like that. Um, yeah, you just let me know. Let me check. Ah, all right, this fine. Okay, so for the navbar, I'm gonna put up a nav here, and let's add like a home and about and a blog section of this. So those are going to be your links, as in. So let's go with an li here and let's call it link. So yeah, it has to be in a not with list with 3 LIs in it, and each LI has like an A tag in it. We don't want a necessarily, we want the link tag. So like that, and that gets us to a good point. So home, about, and blog. All three of them need an href, otherwise they will not compile. So there, this is slash, this is about, and this is blog. So let's give this a class of validation, just in case. Now we can obviously make like a new folder here as well for components. And within the components, I can add a new file called navbar.sas or module.sas, because we're reading network. We don't know how you want to name this. So nav.navigation was what we named it then, right? This thing. So this isn't going to show up here first. So let's do background. So again, let me add the navbar in. So let's go back to our index, which is this page. And before the H1, let's just show the navbar here. We do not have a reference to the navbar yet, and my IntelliSense isn't working for some reason. So import navbar from right. So a folder up components slash navbar. We don't want JSX at the end. That is obvious. This isn't going to work because this isn't JSX. So explode default function navbar or navbar, and this is going to return this, and that's how it would compile down. And now it doesn't know what link was, so let's simple that to be link from next slash link. Yep. So it is there now, and um, now this has to be imported within our globals. So there are a few imports we have to be very careful about for the most part with this. But if you're using even general CSS or something like stylized components, you don't have to worry about this. I just find this to be more manageable by me personally, and that's all. Let's move from padding this to 0. The margin to 0 as well. Yeah, okay. So for the nav bar now, we can give it a display of clicks, a box sizing of border box, and a height of 65 pixels. And if you want to give it a shadow or something, you could apply that too. So that would be box shadow, 1 pixel, 5 pixel, and RGB 80000.5. And that should give it like a very subtle shadow down there. Now let's make this be white again, which it was with. Right. So now it has to get the UL first, and that has to get the list style of none. Oh, it's an unordered list, right? And I did an OL there. Let's see. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, yep, all good now. Um, how this works is I go back here and give it a display of like so everything is like right next to each other. And we can easily define a gap. So I can say, hey, each of you be like 8 pixels between, like there's 8 pixels of space between each one of them. We can obviously align it too, but for first, let's do a background of yellow so we can see with this full boxes. This is not in the center, right? So align items to the center. So they are like horizontally centered, and if you want to center them like on the horizontal axis, we could do like justify items center or something. See if we justify items or justify content. But that usually centers this thing around. Um, Either way, I want them to be on the right, so that doesn't really matter. Um, yeah, so that gets us to this being like in a clickable state. Now we can obviously do an LI, and LIs could have like a font size of 1.5 rem, so they're a little hard to, depending on how we want them to be. I want them to be something like 1.5 pin, are good, and I want them to have a font size of, I do want to use a Google font for this, so I'm gonna get that. It's called Poppins. Just looks nicer, so that way, yeah, just there. We can just grab this, select this, and then get me the input directly, and we can just grab this. Since we are in like a CSS like file structure, we just put it here. It would not render the whole thing, obviously, so we have to move this from here, and I'm going to remove the weight property from here. So that I'm loading the entire font for the most part. And let's grab Poppins and sans serif like that. That should get us like, yeah, all good, it's building. Yeah, the font is much nicer now. Okay, let's get back to our node file. Right. So they could be 1.05 right now, just a little larger than what they are. So this is all good. We can do a text transform of um uppercase like so, and on the A, that is where the text decoration is applied. We can just set that to none. Right. So for the color of them, they could be like RGBA 0.0000 and 0.75 or something. So that could be their color in general, or even the color for the A tags. Since the color is being applied on the A tags. Yeah. Okay. So let's add like a small bullet bill sort of thing around them when we hover over them. So let's do it here first. So I'm going to use background yellow. So quick, I want to add the padding of 4 pixels, about 8 pixels. Something like that looks nice. And border radius of 50%. So they're like rounded, too rounded. So let's go with something like 2 pixels. Let's see what looks nice. Look, 4 pixels. Yeah, much better. And for the color, we can obviously go take some very subtle one just to show, like, hey, you're hovering over this. Yeah, okay, this works. Let's grab all of this out. And actually, we don't need to grab all of this out, just need to grab this out. And we can do a quick transition of 350 milliseconds squeeze out. And to assign a state, we can do a hover and just do that. So if I hover over this, we have this small thing built. And so let's say that we want like a logo here as well, right? Somewhere around here, I just want to go with a span and say portfolio or something like that. So let's stylize that too, and let's put the span a class name of logo. Since we're using React, just look through and we are naming it class name. Just a good practice because class is also a JavaScript keyword. So, right. So with that, we can assign a display of next to this and align items center so they are all aligned properly. And let's give this padding of weight. But yeah, okay. Let's go with the logo and give it a font weight bold 500. Hopefully, if that looks like this. Let me see, it's logo right. Yeah, no, it's not loading. Oh no, that's just fine. Okay, it does. Just taking a while. Okay. Font size 1.5. So there are more. Yeah, so it's larger than that. And lastly, back on our navigation, we could do a flex. I think it's flex row or something. That with flex row, some better with CSS grids. But it has to be like a, let me open the flex. It just always have 10 when they like it. So that works. What we want is like space between. So yeah, that's just justified. Right? Okay, I'm just being done. Okay, then justified content and that could be space green like that. Now we have like a proper top bar build for this. So that was like an easy way of doing like a nav bar. And now wherever we want to use the nav bar in particular, one, this is our main component, so we could obviously wrap this whole thing down. But the other way, if we want to have more granular, like manual control with this, let's put like an app bar within this. Let's wrap it up. After it gives it up, so it would automatically add lines and stuff, and that. And it doesn't know what navbar is, so control navbar, yeah, from the page up component slash navbar, save. Now if we go to the about page, this is about and the number states. On the blog page, it wouldn't because blog doesn't have a reference to it yet. So let's add that too, right there. And let's unfold with the navbar from components slash navbar and save. And so at least this way we get the navbar in, and the navbar is like easily usable now, and this works with like different blog posts and stuff as well. So to get it to work with blog posts, and this is the reason we used MDX, and since we can obviously make a wrapper around this whole thing because that could be like our export default value. So it could be like export default or something right there. It's not gonna highlight for me because I don't have an extension for MDX, but let me get one. there and done. So export default function log page. It's still highlighting because this mark yeah, like that. Log page. So I could just say log page or something, or post page or something, or post like so, return something. I'm just explaining this way first, just to show you this works. Um, right, it doesn't know what Mapper is, so you can obviously just import Mapper, and this is all in Markdown, by the way, which is the beauty of this whole thing. Confidence launch JS6. So we get this, and you see, we don't get any of this content now. So if I don't want to write any of the post page, this whole thing, you could obviously just remove that and just put the navbar here like that. See, it works. So you can directly import plugins in as well. But doing it this way just gets me a bit more control, because then I can use things like states and all that stuff if I want to. So you can choose. Currently, I think based on my use case, this should just suffice. And you can even build some small components like, hey, put this into like a nice post aspect or something, and to render this into like a post, as in like a post component or something, or let's just say a div with um or let's just put this into like a code um or something. Let's see. So what I'm saying is, let's scrap Bulma. This, I know we're not supposed to use like a framework, but it's just Bulma, so I'll just grab the CDN URL for now. Just easy to deal with, I guess. So overview, start, and just get me a CDN URL like that with it. And we can just directly put it in our globals right after importing Google Fonts like that option. Now this should load Bulma in. So you see instantly this whole thing, some of these things has changed, specifically this. So Bulma has some small classes we could use. I just want to use a container for the most part. Let me find if I can find a container, or content works too. Yeah, so that's just a class of content, right? Okay, so since we have Bulma now, I will just want to show you this here. So div, and let's give you a class name for content. And since I'm rendering this now, this would not render. To render this, I want to expected a string. Am I missing something? I don't think so. But the general idea here is I can get children here, and I can populate children there. And that way, our page would render out just fine. It's storing it in main. Let's see. I want to see the component storing it at. Element type is invalid, but that just happened. Oh, right. That just went on. Right. Check method render post is still invalid. Okay, let me smooth this out super quick. Will this still work? We're supposed to get props.children here, so that's what I'm trying to get here. With that too. Yeah, there's something wrong with this on the way this building it. Something. Um, export default function that and post works, and then check render method of post. Is it because of this? from the default life. Yeah, it was because of the nav bar or something. So, because, okay, now it works. Okay, then that works too. Um, so this last name was content that, wait, I have to close this. Let's call it content for now. So our content goes there. So I think I can just mark it as container as well. Probably the way this is supposed to be set up. Um, but let me see. Do I have a component for containers? Shipment columns, right? Basics, column, that's just setting up flex boxes. It's just columns, their layout, container. There we go. So that's just a container, and let's not use content there. Let's just go container. This would not like the container wouldn't be that affected within the scene, obviously, because I should do this. It's not any of this supposed to happen. So things having like a little hard time building this when we render this. Hold up. Um, right. I'll compile down. Let's grab children again now. Yeah. So this way your blog post is, contained inside this automatically, and it has a bit more styling and things to it as well. Um, so that gives you a bit more flexibility in that sense, if that makes sense. I can wrap things around like that, or add like certain things to it, etc. So this way, I have a navigation that's completely working. Obviously, Bulma removes these styles. That's why the way this looks the way it looks right now. Bulma needs everything to be wrapped in like a dot content for them to be able to render with their default styles because that has been marked as such. Um, okay. I think that gives you a very good understanding for the tutorial itself in sense. So, about the deployment of this, Next.js is owned by a company called Vercel, which you can just make a free account on, connect your GitHub. It would let you import stuff in, and it would automatically detect that it's a Next.js project, and it would automatically build it and post it live for you. So you don't have to do much on that. Just make sure it's committed on GitHub or something as a repo. But that's really about it. Um, yeah. Okay. So the thing with this is, let's say I wanted to a function here, like a JS function here. So I want to do a button called alert. Since this works, I can assign an on click to this, or how you should do it in the older times. Some sort of saying that, but you could do this alert and alert like that. So that should be part of your um this should be part of your function now, and that should just work. So it's not just static markdown. You can do like tons of things with this. That is what NDX is good for. Yeah, I think that should be like a good starting point for this. And for the next stream, we can continue building this. For the next stream, let's do like a proper design on this, and we can add a few more features to this. Some more animations to this for loading and stuff, and like a ton more polish, and this should be more or less ready for us to use after that. But yeah, I don't think we have any more questions or something right now, so I'll probably close the stream here. If anything, yeah, just let me know. All good. Yeah, let me just close this. Let me do this.